By internally shifting your identity, everything that you want to manifest will come into your life much easier. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another video. I'm Pierce, and welcome to my channel where we talk about manifesting what you want by transforming who you are. Today, I'm going to start by sharing a book with you that my old mentor shared with me. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It's a book about shifting your identity, and it was written back in the 70s by a plastic surgeon who observed some interesting things in the people that he would do surgeries on. And we'll start with story time. He describes in the book two gentlemen with similar cosmetic scars on their face. And he noticed that he would give this almost identical perfect surgery and eradicate these scars on these men's faces. And yet, one would have a whole entire lease on life, new lease on life, I should say, and live the life of their dreams and, meet the person that they want to be with and just really go on to live this happy, successful life. While the other person with almost the identical scar and the identical surgery would go on to feel the same about himself and have depression and low self-worth. And he said, how is that? Why would I give two almost identical surgeries to two men with similar issues, and yet one literally overnight became an entirely different person and lived a happy, fulfilling life, and the other one didn't seem to change at all? And it's because what he talks about in the book, one of them had an entirely different identity shift. So the gentleman who lived the happy life, his old identity was tied to the scar, and once the scar was gone, he felt that he was free, and the real him, the best version of himself, was able to emerge. While the other gentleman, even though cosmetically the scar was gone just like the first gentleman, he still internally saw himself as this ugly, misshapen loser that everyone picked on and thought he was ugly. In other words, the mental image of himself, the identity that he had of himself, was still internal, regardless of how he looked on the outside. So how can we use this in our own lives? A lot of people think that in order to be happy in life, it starts from having something. And then by having something, you'll do the things that that person has, and then you'll be happy. So let's look at money, for example, which is a common example for all of us. In other words, I'm so unhappy right now, it's because I'm poor, I don't have enough money in my life. Man, but when I have enough money, then I'll be able to do all these things that wealthy people do, and then I'll be happy. And that's how we're programmed to operate in society. And this couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, along with today's theme and lesson and what we're talking about, it's the complete opposite. If you first become that person, you'll begin to do the things that person does, and by default, you'll have what that person has, a wealthy person. In other words, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be a wealthy person. I'm going to think like a wealthy person. This is the identity shift that we're talking about today. Shift into the identity that you want. Be that person, and you will begin to automatically do the things that that person does. And by doing the things that that person does, then you will have what that person has. Another common example, well, let's use money, and then I'll also use health, right? Which are a few common examples for all of us. So with money, well, think about it. If you don't have enough money in your life, you don't have this. Then you're not doing these things because you don't have this. So who are you being right now? Who is this version of you that doesn't have this? Are they good at managing their money? Do they have the skills, the knowledge to give value to other people in order to be well compensated and wealthy? And what does this version of you do? Do they procrastinate? Do they stay isolated and not network and meet new people and explore new opportunities? And that's what you have right now. So whatever you have in your life is a result of who you're being today. And this can be a hard truth for some people to swallow because lack of responsibility is an epidemic in our current society where it's difficult for people to listen to the truth, to hear the truth and go, well, no, I don't have any money because my boss won't give me a promotion. Well, it's outside of you. So that's the version of that person or you that you're being. Someone who says, oh, it's on them, it's on them, it's on them. But what does a wealthy person do? A wealthy person doesn't care about the external world. They know who they are and what they do and what they need to do, right, in the middle in order to have that money. So who are you currently being that doesn't have enough money? And what the shift, here's the powerful shift, does the version of you that has a lot of money, who is that version? Have they taken money management and personal finance courses? Have they read books? Do they have a system of tracking their finances, understanding what's coming in, what's going out? Are they constantly reading and learning and growing and building skills and exploring new opportunities and doing these things in order to have this money? That's the identity shift. What you have in your life is a result of who you're being today and who you've been in the past. But the shift is, and what we're talking about, is shifting into an identity, a new version of you today in order to start being this person who does these things and who will have all this money. Be, do, and have. It's not when I have, then I'll do, and then I'll finally be. No, no, no. You be this person. You shift into that identity, your mentality, your mindset, and then you start doing the things because you're already that person, and by default, this automatically, magically happens. It's the same thing with fitness. I was a personal trainer for 9 years. I ran my own business and helped a lot of people improve their lives. And once I discovered this, probably in my third or so year, not only just getting better at the science, the knowledge, the application, the experience of helping people, but once I understood the psychology of how this works, I would have clients that would change almost overnight because I would help them with the identity shift. So the person who's out of shape, who are they being? Are they someone who's active? Are they being active? Are they being mindful of their diet? Are they being mindful of their sleep habits? Are they being mindful of their emotional well-being so their stress levels are low? Or were they frazzled all over the place, grab a quick bite to eat because they're so rushed and hurried because they're not being centered, they're not being mindful of their food, they're not being calm? That's what would happen. So once we would talk about these things, and I would say, well, what is that version of you? Okay, what is that version of you who's the fit dad who has a six-pack, who has tons of energy for all of his kids' activities and for his wife? Who is that guy? Because this isn't you right now, but it will be. But who is that guy? Shift your being. That guy is someone who is being mindful of their food, who doesn't make excuses about missing workouts because they're tired. They go and they do it. By being this person, he started to do these exercises to think this way, and then automatically his body would transform. He would have the body that he wanted. So this is all about identity shifting. So whatever you're manifesting into your life, if it's not coming into your life right now, are you being in alignment? Are you being that person who has that lifestyle, who does these certain things? How does that version of you think? So the exercise to do is to write, is to journal about this. Well, if this is what I want to have, write what you want to have on top. I want to have a successful business in which I work for myself and I'm financially independent. I work with amazing people. Okay, great. Write that out at the top. And then start from the beginning. Who is that version of me? How do they think? How do they operate? How is their life on a daily basis? Who are they being? And what does that version of me do? What do they do on a daily basis? Do they sit around and kind of wait for things to happen? No, they go and they attack whatever projects they need to do, whatever tasks they need to do. They're productive, they're clear, they're concise, they're elevated in their communication and clear in their effectiveness and whatever goals they're pursuing. They're strategic, they're consistent, they're persistent, they operate with tenacity. These are all characteristics of that person's being, that multi-million-dollar business owner that you are. That's who that person is being, that's what they're doing. So write what you want to have, start with the being, and then write out what does that person do. You can work backwards on that. So it's all about be, do, and have. It's not about I'll have, then I'll do these things, then I'll be, which is how most people operate. So shift your identity. I recommend reading this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, and start identifying who it is you wish to be that lives that life. This is also what Neville Goddard talks about in his book, Feeling is the Secret. That in order to manifest what you want, it's about feeling, it's about vibrating, being on that frequency of what you want to attract or manifest into your life. Feel that feeling, that imagination that you use, the tool, which is your imagination, to visualize what it's like when your life is like that feeling, that's you embodying that state of being, that version of you. And so, this is all about an internal shift first. Shift internally, mentally, emotionally. Really visualize and begin to practice being that person. And then you will begin to do these things that that person, that version of you does. And eventually you will have what you want to have. And here's the kicker. It's a process. And it takes time. And it takes a lot of reconditioning your mind and your belief system. So be patient with yourself. This isn't an overnight success. It might be. I don't know your situation. I don't know your karma. I don't know all the things tied to your transformation. You may be closer than you're thinking. And this may be the video that kind of unlocks that missing piece of information that you need to have in order to all of a sudden blow up over the next week or month. I don't know. For me, it's been a long process because it's a process of transformation. Because again, that's what we're doing on this channel. We're talking about how to manifest the life you want by transforming who you are. The life you want, I want to have this life by transforming who I am, the being, your identity. So visualize what you want to have, connect with who you're being, and then when you really embody that state of being, the stuff that person does will automatically begin to do it. It'll automatically happen because you've made that internal, that mental shift into a new identity, a better version of yourself. That's what I have for you today, guys. I love you so much. Shift your identity, become that person, operate, think, act, and behave like that person. You will have these things and your life will improve and you will get all that you deserve and want in your life, and I promise so. Love you guys so much. I'll see you very soon in another video. Peace.